G'day YouTube, Warbles on a lot here. I know you've probably heard the story that you can't teach kangaroos about cars, and I know that's wrong because I've seen a mob of kangaroos recognise the suspension rattles of a spotlight shooter's car when they heard his vehicle at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And they all got up and moved into the forest rather than be on the edge of the forest where they might be able to see his spotlight later on that night. What I'm hoping to show you now is a kangaroo that's figured out headlights and cars and highways. She should be up on the left hand side of the road up near Whitmore Road in the cutting. I've seen her about 4 or 5 times, both at sundown and at like 7, 8 o'clock at night, well after dark. Also seen her at 9 o'clock at night. Where there's some green pick beside the road, she gets there with her back to the traffic and she stays away from the bitumen's edge, and she looks off into the darkness, and she's too far away from the traffic that's got its headlights facing her for it to be actually shining on her. And yeah, she grazes the roadside pretty much every night in the same spot because she's a kangaroo who's figured out headlights and cars and tyre noise, and she knows how to do it without getting trapped and terrified and killed. Hopefully she'll be there when we go and have a look now. Otherwise, I've just wasted a pretty interesting introduction to a video. I'll let this fella go past. And the one behind him. Now we'll have a go. She shouldn't be at the top of this hill, she should be on the left hand side on the top of the next crest. If she's there. Test. Me going to high beam doesn't seem to do much. There she is. Don't know whether you saw her, but I did. And this time, she was actually facing my way. But anyway, that's the kangaroo who's learned about traffic. Presumably, because there's still some light in the sky, she feels that it's safe enough to be facing the oncoming traffic. As it gets darker, she'll turn around with her back to the oncoming headlights, i.e. people who are going north like me. So she'll be sort of facing out that way, looking into her own shadow. and she won't be getting impacted by the headlights of people who are coming the other way. Not entirely certain that she showed up in the video, but I didn't see her myself until I was almost exactly level with her. Gee, got that at exactly the right time, I think. 5 minutes earlier and she probably wouldn't have been there, because in daylight, of course, she hides because she expects people to be shooting at her. Five minutes later, you wouldn't have seen jack diddly squat out there, because there's not enough background light to show it up. So anyway, proof that kangaroos can learn about headlights and tyre noise and engine noise and highways and 100km/h traffic. They really are. Not as silly as they look. Warbles on a lot to YouTube. Ciao. I may be excessively cautious, but on roads like this, I tend to stick around the 80 k's. So if there's any hoppities that are grazing the roadside edge who aren't highway wise, I got time to stop before running into them. And my big tip is to dip your headlights. If you dip your headlights, then they can see something other than the pool of bright white light in front of your radiator. Their response to sudden noise is to stand stock still, to freeze. So they'll freeze at the sound of your tyre noises until it gets louder and louder and louder, and they become blinder and blinder and blinder, and then when the only thing that they can see is the puddle of light in front of your radiator, that's when they jump into it and you get hit by a kangaroo, or you hit the kangaroo. However, tonight I introduced you to the kangaroo who understands about cars. Ciao.